call came out, I believe it was 16 or 19 minutes into the start of our shift. So I was actually here at the police department, just getting ready for the day and finding out the briefing.
Wow, so there, so it hadn't even started.
Yeah, no, it really hadn't started. And the call came out, and I immediately, obviously I heard the call of a male on top of a vehicle, and then his wife was still inside of the vehicle. So I ran out to my patrol car and took off with my lights and sirens activated, drove as fast as I could to get there. And when I arrived on scene, I saw that the vehicle was in the water, and I could see a male on top of it as I ran down, and I instantly unzipped my vest, threw it down to the ground, and jumped in the water and swam out to the vehicle. And the husband was telling me, or the male on top of the vehicle was telling me that his wife was still inside, and probably about 95 to 98% of the vehicle was underwater already. And I was able to feel around the back of the vehicle, and I found a latch for the rear window. And I opened the rear window, and as soon as I did that, the vehicle went underwater. And I actually went underwater and swam probably about waist deep into the vehicle. I couldn't see anything because it was so dark already. And I was feeling around, and I could feel her, and I was able to just grab onto her whatever I could. I believe it was her shirt, and I ended up dragging her out. And once I got her out of the vehicle, I was just kind of fighting with her to try to get her above water because she was obviously panicking. Once I was able to get her above water, I started swimming her to the shore, where fire was able to meet me probably a couple feet off shore and help me pull her the rest of the way to shore.
Wow. I mean, so what goes through your mind? You get there and you see the car. What's going through your mind as, if anything, as you're seeing this car starting to sink or thoroughly sunk?
I was just thinking I need to get out there as fast as I can. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot else besides I needed to get to her, and I didn't want to waste any time, and so that's why I just dove straight in. But I remember when I was driving there, the whole time I was telling myself in my head, if she's still in that water, you're going to jump in there. Like I was making a plan, like you're going to go. You're not going to, freeze. You're just going to go, which is something I try to do for all the calls I respond to.
So that goes through your first things going, if there's a rescue, I'm ready to go, and I'm front and center with that.
Exactly. And I honestly contribute some of it. I did 8 years of swim team, so I'm pretty confident in the water. And then I was in the Navy as well. And while I was in the Navy, we do a lot of, water practices to make sure you're comfortable in the water and other qualifications. And that's actually where I learned how to do a buddy tow when I was in the Navy. And that's kind of what I did with her when I was swimming her to the shore, because she was fairly larger than me. I'm not very big in statute.
So was she knocked out? Was she responsive at all?
She was responsive. She was gasping for air once I got her above water, and seemed completely out of it. I mean, as anyone would for that kind of situation. And once we got her to the shore, I just kind of had everyone stop and let her catch her breath before we tried to move her the rest of the way out of the water.
You're pulling through when you're done. Is there anything that goes through your mind at that point, or what do you think about? Wow, what did I just do? Or
truthfully, the first thing that thought to me was I was like, thank God I found the latch for the window. That's what I was thinking, and then I was happy that she was safe, and I just was going, where's my vest, because I don't want to lose my equipment.
Your training really played a lot into it. I mean, a regular police officer wouldn't have necessarily had that training and been able to do some of the things that you did.
I wouldn't say that they wouldn't be able to do it, but I mean, I'd definitely say that my training assisted me in being able to get out there. From my experience in the Navy and doing different, I've jumped off. I was stationed on an aircraft carrier, and I jumped off the side into the water for a swim qual. So and not everyone would do that. So I'm very comfortable with the water, and I definitely would say my comfortability with the water contributed a lot to being able to rescue her.
Yeah, pond a little different than
so,
an aircraft carrier.
Yes,
it's a little bit easier that way, even though. But the stakes are so much higher too. I mean,
absolutely.
That obviously goes through you because you realize that you've not just got to get into the water and pull somebody out, but there's somebody underneath that water too.
Yes, absolutely. And I was definitely, at the time I didn't think about it, but I was, it was a scary situation. And so, I guess probably one of the biggest things that I've thought about since is if I hadn't been there, I just pray that, someone else would have been able to get her out as well. And there were other officers there, so I'm sure they would have been able to. But it always, you always kind of what if everything you do.
Mm-hmm. And the challenge too, like you said, the visibility. Talk to me a little bit about that because you couldn't really see anything.
So it was sundown now with time change is about 5:30, and so it was about, by the time I got there, it was a little after 6:20, and it was completely dark. And I actually was trying to position my spotlight on my patrol vehicle to light the vehicle up. And so once it went underwater, I couldn't see anything at all. And so that's why I was just feeling around for her once I was inside the vehicle. And when I felt her that's when I pulled her out. And I still, even once we were out, I really couldn't see anything until I had her above water, and that's when I could see she was still conscious.
What was her reaction, her husband's reaction?
Very thankful. I mean, she was breathing heavy and very shocked, obviously, of course. You know, it's a scary situation. So I was told later on that she's handicapped, so she didn't have the ability to get out of the vehicle. And then the husband as well, deputies were able to swim him to shore because he has a bad left arm or shoulder, I believe it was. And so he was rescued as well by, I know Staff Sergeant Collier assisted with rescuing him.
You feel lucky that you were able to find her considering the conditions?
I do. Like I said, I would have tried to break the window, but it's not the easiest, especially when it's underwater. I mean, absolutely. If I hadn't got there in time and gone straight in the way I did, I don't know if she'd be alive today.
Something you do again, no problem, same deal?
Absolutely.
Just because of being a police officer, being who you are?
I'd say both. I mean, being a police officer is just my job. You know, at the core, it's who I am, and the reason why why I want to be a police officer is, you know, there's always the fun, high-speed stuff as well, but the saving people is, you know, a big part of it. And I absolutely felt, you know, I mean, not only duty-bound, but ethically bound to try to save someone's life. And no matter what the stakes are, I would do it again.
There are going to be people out there, they're going to call you a hero. Do you believe you're a hero?
I wouldn't say I'm a hero. I think I just did the right thing, you know, in the right moment. And I don't think, you know, it's part of my job, and I think there's hundreds of other people out there that would do the same thing if they had the same situation. So I was just lucky enough to be able to react properly in that situation.